Alright, here we go. We're live. Let me know if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay, and all that good stuff. And we'll get straight into it. We've got a good live stream for you guys today. A lot has happened inside of the market over these past 24 hours. And actually just kind of since my most recent Ethereum video. So if you're subscribed, you would have been able to catch that. There's one big thing which I was a little bit concerned in that video, but the one big thing I said that would kind of change things for the market is if Bitcoin manages to get pulled up with Ethereum. And just audio visual good, thank you very much. And what we have here is, if we look at the right hand side, Bitcoin is up by 3% today, whereas Ethereum is up by 8%. So usually Ethereum was performing recently about 5 times better than Bitcoin, but now that's dropped to only about 2.5 times better. So that's just basically another way of saying that Bitcoin is now finally starting to catch up a little bit, whereas Ethereum is flying. And that's not surprising. That's not surprising that Ethereum is doing much better than Bitcoin. It's one of the main ideas we've been talking about on this YouTube channel for a long time. Definitely one of the main ideas that I've been constantly talking about inside of Forfly's VIP, and it's influenced a lot of my trades. Here's an example. These are 2 recent trades that I made on Ethereum, showing you that on Ethereum against Bitcoin, I bought more at this price level, and Ethereum against a dollar, I bought more at this price level. And this is just showing you how beautifully, I'm sorry, I need to hide my camera here, how beautifully the market has risen after these trade updates that I put inside of VIP. So going really, really well. And the reason for that I'm seeing is what we have in this market really, again, is just a lack of resistance for Ethereum up until that all-time high. Now there is a little bit of resistance for Ethereum just around these kind of ranges, just because, this is where Ethereum traded before, but there's still not enough. In terms of resistance, what I'm really looking for is one key level where the market, continuously, consistently reacts to a certain level, and there just isn't a level like that. Maybe the closest one to what I've just described is 3,660, potentially 3,900, but we didn't get rejected at any of those. We just we topped out randomly at 3,800, which is very typical in a market that's just very volatile. It's just randomly finding resistance wherever. That's why it's so dangerous to trade now, and that's why I entered my trades before all of this madness. When it's too late like this, it is too late to be in a trade at this point. You can still do it, and obviously you should trade however you like, and you shouldn't let me give you any financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. But at the end of the day, the way I see it is, when something like this has started moving, that's it. It's already too late, and that's why you've got to be in before the move happens, and that's really where the magic happens, in my opinion. But Ethereum having a very nice time rising up because of that, in stark contrast to Bitcoin, which isn't. Bitcoin, unlike Ethereum, still has resistance up ahead. We can actually visualize that very clearly on this chart right here, and I'm going to be talking to you about this descending triangle in just a bit. But Bitcoin does still have a little bit of resistance. So we go back to the title of today's live stream. Be careful if you're trading and holding Bitcoin. The thing is, this market right now is going to give you an impression of being really, really exciting, very bullish, very alive, very set, alive, set on fire, kind of, that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting from the market right now. But that's not congruent with reality. That's very important. What you're being led to believe right now in the market and what reality is, I think, are 2 different things. It's good to be excited. That's fine. Actually, I'd probably say that's not a good thing, but it's okay to be excited and different things like that. But we also need to just kind of ground ourselves and remind ourselves that Bitcoin still hasn't passed resistance. And until Bitcoin does, I think the whole market is going to have some trouble continuing to rise up. We have seen nice rises. Link up by 10%. Cardano starting to push that all-time high again at $3, getting very, very close. And believe me, I have a lot to talk about this, but most of that is going to be going back into Forfly's VIP, as I've been talking about this coin inside of VIP for a while. This market is looking good, but I think it is being bottlenecked by Bitcoin. Until Bitcoin can kind of clean up its act, I guess, and start kind of breaking above this box of resistance, I think it's going to be a little bit challenging. So I want to break down for you what this box is and why I think it's significant. If we take a look at some of the support and resistance that this market was able to find over these past months, a lot of it, in fact, almost all of it around this range only falls between $47,000 and $51,000, which is a little bit less than a 10% range for Bitcoin. So This is definitely an important area for Bitcoin in my opinion, and we can actually see that it's recently been quite an important level for the market. Now, I haven't adjusted these lines, right? These lines are the way I've drawn them for a very long time. So the fact that Bitcoin has perfectly fallen down to the line I drew and bounced off, and then did it again, and bounced off, and then perfectly found resistance. This is just a testament to how well technical analysis works. I didn't move these lines. It's been like this since the beginning. And so, you know, seeing that we've successfully, you know, kind of found a little bit of resistance here is good. It just means that this market is functioning in a very healthy way. And it also means that while we're in this area, Bitcoin is, in my opinion, going to be held down a little bit, right? Again, this is the same kind of prediction that we were talking about on this YouTube channel for quite a long time now, where this range would be a little bit challenging for Bitcoin to overcome. But what that means on the flip side, and why this is so exciting, is that if we are able to break this range, if Bitcoin is able to break above this yellow-orange box on this chart, there is no more resistance for Bitcoin until it rises a little bit higher towards the $55,000 level up here. And I can draw another box to illustrate what that looks like, and I'd probably have to draw it a little bit like this, just to demonstrate for you guys what kind of area of resistance I see next. This is very big, and in all honesty, it doesn't need to be this big as resistance. I think the main area of resistance is probably going to be around right here, around $55,000. And that's essentially me saying that between, you know, this yellow line and this green box, there is not much that happens for the price. And again, this is one of the key ideas that we've been talking about on this YouTube channel for quite a long time. You know, you do have to wait to enter ranges like this, but the point is, once you do finally enter them, the price usually zips really, really nicely. And, you know, as people who are compulsive gamblers and, you know, people who can't really control themselves, it's not easy to wait for ranges like this. But for those of you who've been subscribed to this channel, who've taken a lot of initiative to become healthier, more successful traders, you will know that it's well worth waiting for the price to enter ranges like this, because that's where we get really crazy price action like this on Ethereum right here. It's, you know, if you're prepared for it, and if you know that it's coming, and, you know, for example, you've been subscribed to this channel, because obviously none of this has taken us by surprise, then these kind of ranges actually become really juicy, and it's well worth waiting for. Ethereum in this case was consolidating for 24 days, so over 3 weeks. But then all of a sudden seeing a very, very big, massive blow off right there, a massive, massive rocket ship just literally strapped to Ethereum's back, essentially, the way I'm seeing it. And that's, you know, this is where, you know, 3 weeks you're preparing, you're hibernating, you're keeping your skills sharp, you're not losing focus, and then all of a sudden, bam, you make all of your money very, very nicely here. Again, like I said, this trade was already put inside of VIP. And remember this guy that I showed you just literally earlier today, this person mentioning that he was out of town for a little bit, but since March, which was about 5 months ago, this person was able to turn 2.5k into 20k. This message was a couple of days ago. Today, he sent me another group of messages right here, and take a look at this. This person started off with $2,500 in this account, and you can't really read this, but has now been able to run it up to $27,000. So take a look at his message. This person saying, more good news, I traded my way up into $25,000 now thanks to the Ethereum jump, and I just wanted Sammy to show this off on the channel because of his VIP pick for Ethereum, helping him re-enter the trade and make some serious gains. VIP is a very, very serious package where a lot of people are able to take advantage of what we're putting inside of the group to run absolutely insane gains on their portfolio. Take a look at what else he wrote right here. Yes, this is real life, folks. This part sounds really suspect, so I was a little bit unsure of showing this in today's video. Take the course, watch 4Flies on YouTube, analyzes VIP trades, and then profit. When you join VIP, we actually give you a welcome video recorded by me, very handheld, intimate video, where I'm kind of explaining to you how you can best use the whole package, and it kind of touches on the same notes that this person hits on. So definitely check out these steps on screen, pause the video here, and join 4Flies VIP if you're interested in it. And the great news that I have for you all right now is that 4Flies VIP is 25% off. We're running a flash sale right now. It's going to end very soon. But in response to this big move, in response to us absolutely playing this market, you know, like it's a game, like it's a child's game, you know, really, really just entering at the perfect levels before Ethereum blasts off. And by the way, this is not the only time I entered Ethereum. The main levels where I was buying Ethereum was down at $400. VIPs knew all about that, those of you who've been around since then. So this has been going very, very well, and with that 25% discount, now's your time to jump right in. But let's bring it back to the charts here and talk a little bit more about where the price action is for Bitcoin. And of course, if you guys have questions, now is the time for you to start dropping them in the comments. I'm going to be taking your chart suggestions, and I'm going to be taking a look at these markets and giving you some more TA on what I'm seeing. For Ethereum, I'm seeing nothing stopping it from going up to the all-time high. The only thing that I think can become a problem for Ethereum to bridge this final $500 or so up to that all-time high, the only real issue that I can see for Ethereum right now is just some level of kind of irrational selling pressure. The thing we need to keep in mind over here, in my opinion, is, and we can see this quite clearly, is if we take a look at the volume down here, it's not that a lot of people are buying Ethereum, right? We have seen more buying pressure on Ethereum earlier last month than we're seeing today, right? We are not in a situation, and this is so important to keep in mind. Again, these are one of the things that, if you're not able to really critically evaluate yourself, you won't really be able to accept these kind of facts. But it's very important to keep in mind that right now we are not seeing significantly higher buying pressure that might lead to a big price jump. Very important. When you look at a big pump like this, you would actually think that a lot of people are really rushing in droves to buy Ethereum, but that's not the case. If we look at the volume right here, it's just not peaking very high. We've seen bigger peaks with less substantial price action. So really, what that means, if we're not getting a whole lot of buyers stepping into the market compared to before, what it really means is that we're just not getting sellers, right? And when nobody is selling, then the last traded price of Ethereum, which is exactly what this means, it just means the last traded price of Ethereum is going to be quite high. But as soon as we get some, heavy selling pressure coming back into the market, because nobody really is buying Ethereum as much as you would be led to believe, that can cause a big crash. So we always have that risk with Ethereum right here. And if we go back to what I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, that is exactly why this market can quite irrationally drop down, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous to enter a trade now as opposed to before this move happened. That's why preparation is so important here. A lot of people will tune out and they'll lose focus in ranges like this, and that's fine. I mean, you've got to make your mistake, but obviously you have to also learn from them. A lot of people will phase out at times like this in the market. They'll lose concentration, and as a result, they'll miss moves like this. So really, I mean, the question to ask yourself is it worth having a low attention span for missing out on the profits you could have made on this move? Now, obviously, if you're holding Ethereum, you're making profits. But if you were actively buying Ethereum, and if you were trading it like this amazing guy over here has been as well, then, I mean, it's the difference between making, a 10-20% profit and blowing your account up by a factor of 10x. I mean, that's the level of difference that we're talking about. That's what preparation, that's what focus brings you. You can get your 20% and you'll be very happy with your 20%, but I can promise you, you'd be much happier if you were this VIP member right here. And my point is, that is very much in your control, just by kind of focusing a little bit more and not letting these rough patches make you lose focus. I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way over here. For Bitcoin, like I said, the resistance right here stretches all the way up to 51. I think that as soon as Bitcoin is able to clear it, it's going to have a nice little gap over here, and I'm expecting a similar price move for Bitcoin. And again, above that, we've already covered this a little bit, but there are some more resistance levels above Bitcoin to get to that all-time high, but it is a little bit too early to talk about it. Bitcoin was showing some weakness before, where, I mean, it literally painted a classic bearish M pattern here, which I thought could have been quite dangerous for Bitcoin, although I didn't talk about it because they're actually quite unreliable. We get these patterns all the time, and actually they do tend to drop the market quite often. But Bitcoin, I think, has been able to regain a lot of what it lost over the past couple of days. It wasn't behaving very well, in my opinion. I was saying that, it wasn't looking strong, but it also wasn't looking weak. I think it's looking a little bit stronger now with this pump. I would have loved to see a bigger pump for Bitcoin because, again, it is really being left behind. We can see this quite clearly if we look at CoinMarketCap. Look at the 7 days change for Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin has overall kind of been trending down over the past 7 days, and then compare that to Ethereum, compare that to Cardano, compare that to XRP. I mean, this market for Bitcoin has not been performing extremely well. And so it's still not looking particularly strong, but the good news is that, coming off some of the areas of support that Bitcoin has had, it has now made use of them. So this could be the first step in a big rally for Bitcoin, just kind of finding support off this Ichimoku cloud beautifully at the bottom of this cloud on the red line, which if you've already watched my video on Ichimoku clouds, you're going to know quite well that this is a very critical level on the Ichimoku cloud. If we move on from there to the EMAs, we can also see again, Bitcoin has made good use of them. On the 1-day time frame, Bitcoin has only touched the EMA ribbon and then started to bounce up, which is exactly what happened the 2 times prior. So Bitcoin is making really good use of the support that it has. And when we look at it in that through that lens, and when we really consider how Bitcoin has been moving kind of in that longer term perspective, it's going really well. And in fact, on this time frame, really all I can see for Bitcoin is that it's rising up, it's forming continuation patterns, rising up, forming another continuation pattern, which in this case I'm seeing as a falling wedge, and then potentially getting ready to attack the upside again. So the way I see it, it's almost a matter of when, not if. I've been quite vocal about how I'm still polarized to the upside, even though it was, not looking particularly strong. You guys are really obsessed with what I'm wearing. This is very interesting. Maybe I have to make this a staple of the YouTube channel, because I get way too many comments about this. I just really like the jacket. I mean, that's it. It's just a really cool jacket that I bought in California. Don't disrespect the fur, exactly. And so, Bitcoin, in terms of that longer term perspective, is in a really good state. And another thing that I want to highlight, which actually Tone Vase was mentioning, is that, what I want to point out is, actually, you can see this quite clearly on this chart, is, this box for Bitcoin is resistance, right? This yellow box, this orange box is resistance for Bitcoin. This is something which is actually quite tricky. By the way, guys, I'm just taking a look at the likes. We need to pump those up. If you guys are finding this live stream useful, please smash up the likes. It'll take you 2 seconds. It'll help the algorithm a lot. It'll help the YouTube channel as well. So if you're finding it useful, please do go ahead and do that. If you're new, also hit that subscribe button. But and I do need to take this off because it is very hot. But for Bitcoin, you see one of the key things that I think is working really well for Bitcoin in its favor right now is simply the fact that this is an area of resistance that Bitcoin is in, but Bitcoin is consolidating, right? If we zoom in a little bit closer, when we consolidate, it doesn't look that good because it's a descending triangle, but bottom line, Bitcoin is kind of just trading around in this range. And if we're trading around in a resistance area, that tells us that we're pretty comfortable with resistance. I mean, to run along with one of my classic terrible analogies on this YouTube channel, this is like seeing somebody juggling with sticks of fire, right? Obviously you and I would be probably quite anxious around fire, around sticks that are set on fire. Obviously that would be quite unsettling for people to be juggling, but if someone is able to hold them and dance around them and set themselves on fire like Kanye West, that's telling you that they're quite comfortable around fire, which means that they're quite strong characters. And that's exactly what I'm seeing for Bitcoin right here. It's the same thing. Bitcoin right now is under a lot of fire at resistance, but is it getting strong rejections? No, it's not. Bitcoin is able to hold these levels in the face of danger, which is generally quite a bullish sign. This is essentially, if we, stop dumbing this analogy down and we bring it back to real life with this market, what that essentially is saying, in my opinion, is that where the bears should be in control, which is at a resistance level, the bears are not in control. That's very important to keep in mind, in my opinion. Where the bears should be in control, they're not. At resistance, we are not getting rejected. And so by consolidating right under resistance, that's generally quite a bullish sign. And by the way, one of the key times where I was pointing this out in this market, again, if you've been subscribed for a while, you'll know all about this. One of the key times where I was talking about this was right over here, when Bitcoin was consolidating directly underneath $20,000. And I was saying very vocally that this is amazing for the market. Bitcoin consolidating here means that it's not getting rejected, which means that it's probably going to break above that resistance and then absolutely shoot up. We were trading this a lot inside of 4Flies VIP and made a very nice profit on this next leg up over here, where I closed over 300% for part of my position on my profit. Again, every single trade that I make inside of 4Flies VIP every single trade that I make goes inside of 4Flies VIP, where I'm telling you all about the details of the trades that I'm making, my entries, my reasoning for choosing them, my targets, my stop losses, all of that stuff. Plus you're getting my normal analysis, plus you're getting breakdowns on the trades that I'm making. There is a lot that goes into it, and if you want to gain access to absolutely everything, and if you just want to find out what the pricing is, how to join different things like that, these are the 3 steps which will enable you to find out that information. And with our flash 25% off discount right now, which will be ending very soon, it is the best time to join right now. Anyway, let's move back to the charts, and actually I want to start taking some of your questions now. So if you do have any questions, please start dropping them in the comments. Make sure that you write my name in your comment so that I can see it. If you don't write my name, I'm not going to know that you're asking me a question, so I won't read your comment. Let's see what else we have here. My beautiful face was hiding the market cap. I'm very sorry about that. Smart contracts are coming to Cardano on the 12th. Cardano has already pumped to a healthy level, threatening the $3 mark. Do you think smart contracts are going to be positive to the end of the year? Do I think they're going to be positive on the market? I don't know. I don't pay attention to the news ever, so I really can't comment on that. But what I do know is that Cardano is in a very, very strong stance in the market, and I also know that Cardano is very similar to Ethereum in the broad picture, in the broad scale, like broader. When you zoom out, Ethereum and Cardano are quite similar. So, at the end of the day, these are markets that go up based on speculation, and to me, that means that, look, if Ethereum is performing well, I think Cardano is probably going to perform quite well as well. I was talking to you guys about how I was expecting it to rise, and it did that beautifully. And the other thing to point out is that Cardano generally doesn't, trade in boring ways like this for very long. So it is doing that right now. It's actually in a little bit of a descending channel, which is fine. But it doesn't stay in these kind of patterns for long, and it's right at the doorstep of that all-time high, right at $3. So from a technical perspective, I think it looks really strong, especially considering that Ethereum has already pumped. This is the extra bit of information which will take you the extra, not even the extra mile, but just the extra 10 feet, the extra 100 feet, the extra 100 yards or whatever. Just a very small incremental bit of extra information which can really set you apart, because by understanding that Ethereum and Cardano are quite similar, and then understanding, well, just seeing that Ethereum has risen up. Well, Ethereum likes to lead the market. This is information that you would only know if you've been experienced in the market and you've stuck around for a long time. Ethereum likes to lead the market sometimes, and when it does, if successful, which I think there are some signs that it's going to be successful, given that Bitcoin is starting to get its rises as well. If Bitcoin is rising, I think that's definitely going to enable Ethereum to continue rising up. And again, since Ethereum and Cardano are so similar, I'm quite bullish on Cardano. I think that it definitely can break that all-time high, and I am looking at trading this quite soon. So that's probably going to be one of the next trades that I share inside of Forflies VIP, where I tell you guys exactly what I'm doing with Cardano and why. I've been discussing this with my analyst, and I'm looking at trading it relatively soon. If Ethereum, got a good question here. If Ethereum drops again, where would I expect it to go? So the thing with Ethereum, which is really, really nice, is it's so predictable right now, in my opinion. Ethereum, if we just kind of look at this chart, it doesn't have a lot of resistance above, but it doesn't have much support down here, but it's got something which is absolutely huge right here, which is a big sideways trading range. Ethereum traded sideways here, like I said, for 24 days, which means that this is historically a very powerful price level for Ethereum. It was getting rejected at $3,300 right here, and it even found support when it broke out initially. So I think it's looking really, really strong at that level, given that we've already found support there. So if Ethereum did start to drop, I would definitely expect it to find some support here. Now that might mean that we only get a small bounce and then we continue down. I don't know, but I'm definitely expecting the bounce. And the bounce can be small like this, or it can be absolutely massive. It just depends on what the market is doing when it falls down there, if it does, because obviously nothing is guaranteed. And so seeing Ethereum kind of come down to that level would be where I expect some support. Another thing to keep in mind, and again, this is why it really does depend, and I hate to say that because I wish I could give you a straight answer, but I think this really does depend. And thank you guys for hitting up the likes, by the way. Let's shoot them up if you guys are finding this useful. One of the things that I think it does depend on is, where does it top out at? If Ethereum tops out at, I don't know, and I'm just going to use a Fibonacci retracement to illustrate this point. Let's do it from this low right here. If it tops out at, let's just say the all-time high, which I think is around about here, but I can't see it because of my obnoxious drawings, then you can start to see that this level doesn't line up with any Fibonacci retracements. But if, for example, it tops out at $4,000, well then the 618 retracement lines up perfectly with my existing area of support. So if we can start to, if Ethereum tops out at a certain level where it lines up, where the Fibonacci retracement that we can draw lines up with a level like 3,300, that kind of thing, it's going to strengthen the argument, in my opinion, that Ethereum is probably going to bounce off at these kind of levels. I don't know if that made sense. Let me know if it didn't, but that's going to give you a little bit of information about where I think Ethereum might be able to bounce from if it ends up dropping. On the 4-hour time frame, it does still have support, which is going to be around 3,300 for a little bit. On the daily time frame, it's just about to turn into support on the Ichimoku cloud right here, which I think is great. Momentum support is going to be very strong for Ethereum, and it lines up with the same level, or it will line up with the same level of 3,300 very shortly. I mean, literally just a matter of days, and I think we're going to start seeing some nice momentum support for Ethereum down here at 3,300, which is really just all me basically saying that Ethereum can really get very, very bad, and that's going to be completely fine because it's just going to have so much support below it. Again, we could be looking at a small dead cat bounce where it only bounces up by a little bit and then absolutely plummets lower. That's what happened before with many of these bounces. Look at this bounce right here. I want to draw your attention to this bounce here in this market, where Ethereum was, absolutely just waterfall falling off. And by the way, during this drop, we were still making money on Ethereum inside of 4Flies VIP. So that really goes to tell you that I love to make money when the market is dropping. Also, very, very happy to make money when the market is rising, and being able to do both is what enables you to, continuously compound your account. So that, the last time Ethereum was here, I didn't own as much Ethereum as I own today. So, being able to own more Ethereum every time Ethereum hits the levels it was at before means that you're just going to be getting richer, right? If I owned 100 Ethereum over here and now I own 150, I'm 50% richer at the same price level. So the market is literally doing all the work for me. Very, very important note there. But these dead cat bounces, it could very well be like this, where the market starts dropping very quickly, gets a temporary relief rally, in this case from 3,000 to 3,600, and then absolutely plummets again. I don't know, and it depends on how the market is dropping, but that is definitely something which I think we should be keeping an eye out for in this market. Very good question. Thank you very much. Thank you all for hitting up the likes, by the way. Really, really love seeing that. We're at the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. That is very interesting. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to point out is just yesterday I mentioned that when Bitcoin fell out of this rising wedge, it fell like a rock. Recently we didn't, and that's why I mentioned to you in yesterday's video that it actually, it doesn't look particularly weak, and that's where I was quite, confused as well. But I want to take a look at the Fibonacci retracement and see exactly what this person is talking about. Yeah, it looks like we are. The way I've drawn it, we're actually at the 382 retracement, but they mean exactly the same thing, so that's fine. We're not at the 382, where we got rejected at the 382. There's not much I can make of this to me. I probably should have drawn this the other way around, to be honest. This was not the right way to draw it in this particular context. There we go. This is a little bit better. Yeah, quite close to that 618 level. I think that's just another way of saying, look, there's resistance at 51,000. That's not new information for us. I've been saying that for a really long time. But what's great is when these indicators start to line up with each other, when my TA lines up with the Fibonacci tool, which lines up with the Ichimoku cloud, which lines up with, horizontal resistance or whatever, that's where you're starting to get a confluence of various different indicators coming together, merging together to paint the same image. And that's where it starts to become a very powerful, very compelling image. So to me, that's only strengthening my argument that, yeah, 51,000 is the level to beat for Bitcoin. As soon as it beats that, I think it could be seeing a very similar, bit of price action to what Ethereum is experiencing right now. I think Bitcoin is only, 2 or 3 steps behind Ethereum in that specific context. So very, very interesting Fibonacci retracement there. I don't know if I showed it correctly though, because I'm not seeing what you were pointing out. VRA. I'll take a look at those alts in a little bit. I want to go for some more of these questions. George is asking, should I grab Bitcoin now? I can't give you financial advice, mate. Very sorry. Do I long inverse perpetual or USDT perpetual? I'm almost always just trading inverse perpetual contracts. I just don't generally like to trade USDT. I don't like USDT, so I try to stay away from it as much as possible. Obviously, sometimes you don't have a choice, and so that's when I do it. But that's just my own personal preference. Of course, this person is asking about Bybit. So Bybit is the main exchange that I've been using for years. I've been working with them for years, and we are offering you, with the link down below, $2,600 completely free of charge, depending on how much you deposit when you sign up to Bybit using my link down there. So if you are interested in getting, if it sounds like a good deal to you to do a couple of clicks, sign up to a new exchange which is extremely safe and reliable in my experience, then getting $2,600 for free as well on top of that is quite damn appealing. And if that sounds good to you, then the link is down there waiting for you, and you can claim those funds right there. Actually, you don't have to claim it, it's automatic, so they'll just deposit it straight into your account. Fourth, there is a bearish divergence on the RSI similar to the previous dump. Yeah, I mean, there always is a bearish divergence, isn't there? Yeah, I see that right here. This is the RSI trending down while the market is trending up. But I'd like to point out to you, ladies and gents, that we've had quite a lot of bearish divergences. Let me point out to you when when another bearish divergence happened. It was right over here. This was a very funny bearish divergence. Let me just drop 2 lines here to illustrate this for you. Bam, line number 1, line number 2. In this time, ladies and gents, Bitcoin was trading at between $20,000 and $16,000. It was just trading sideways and consolidating. This is when I was so bullish on the market, but we had a bearish divergence. Market was trending slightly upwards, RSI was trending firmly downwards, indicating that the market was going to drop, but it didn't, and it absolutely skyrocketed up again. And so this is quite an unreliable indicator in the market because it fires off so consistently. We can actually see it on the rally up to $20,000 as well. Let me show this to you on the 4-hour time frame. If we take a look at what happened around the $14,000 range, like around over here, take a look at this. This is quite significant, and we definitely shouldn't be ignoring signs like this, right? The RSI wasn't looking particularly strong during this time right here. Let's just say, yeah, during this kind of gap in the market right here, where on the 4-hour time frame, the market was trending up very nicely and this is where I entered another long position where I made another 300% profit, which was very, very fun in this market. But the Bitcoin price trending up slowly, RSI trending down slowly, indicating that the market has lost some strength. But it's very much not the case, and the market absolutely explodes up to $16,000. So being aware of things like this is quite important. You would be led to believe that this is something bearish in the market because that's how you were taught about it when you first watched a YouTube tutorial or a Udemy course or read it in a book. But in practice, these particular tools are extremely unreliable in my opinion, and that's why I'm not paying much attention to it right now. You see, the nature of these bearish divergences is that we're going to get them a lot. Just to put this into perspective for you all, this big bearish divergence started at $40,000 and it came into fruition at $55,000. So you would have sold your position up. Actually, you wouldn't have even noticed the bearish divergence here. So you might have sold your Bitcoin around here, for example, according to this bearish divergence. And the price would have rallied up from an average, let's say from an average price of 35, would have rallied up to $54,000 until you would finally be correct. And by the way, that would be from January to May. So congratulations, you fucked up the timing of this market by 5 months. That is a very, very big cost, and that just again puts it into perspective how these are incredibly unreliable indicators. Eventually it is correct, and it's glaringly obvious when it's correct, right? I mean, this is a very, very big bearish divergence in this market, so it's super, super obvious that the market is slowly trending up while the RSI is trending down. So obviously it's valid. It's just that it could be valid over here, or it could be valid over here, or over here, or over here. And if you have to, if you have to keep on trading it to finally be correct, your success rate becomes something like 25%, as opposed to somebody who ignores these kind of tools and generally holds a better success rate. So there are, in my opinion, definitely some tools that are better than others, and the RSI divergence kind of indicator, this method of analysis, in my opinion, is one of the most flawed ways to carry out technical analysis because it's so consistently late and unreliable. It's amazing to read in books, right? Like in books, it's really, really nice to study, but when you're in the thick of it and you're in the action right now, I just want to draw your attention to this current bearish divergence. This bearish divergence started right here at $40,000, and we're now at $48,000. If you tried to close your long position over here, you would have missed out on more than 20% of price action. So again, this bearish divergence, very much in my opinion, has failed. It's a great early warning sign to tell us that the market might top out, but my God, you had that early warning sign since like $30,000 and the price doubled from there. So is it really worth paying attention to? For long-term investment positions, sure, it might be slightly useful, but broadly speaking, I think these are quite unreliable ways to carry out analysis in this market. I'm getting very, very hungry now. I haven't eaten anything all day, so I might look to end this live stream relatively soon and go get myself something to eat. Let's see what else. We have a lot of questions here, so I'm going to try and go through them as best as I can. I see you prefer putting trend lines on. Yeah, that's the main way I carry out my analysis. Bitcoin price prediction for Christmas Day. What would Santa bring us? I have absolutely no idea, mate. Anyone who tries to make specific price predictions for specific days, you see the way I see them is like those people in America who make a business out of being Christian, and which is another way of saying they feed complete utter bullshit to people who don't know any better, and they use the funds that they make by selling those, like you gotta pay me to donate to the church or whatever, and then they use it to buy private jets. That's the same way that I see people who make very specific price predictions from very specific dates. There is absolutely no way that anyone can know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone next week or 25th of December 2021. There's just no way, because you can't know what happens tomorrow, so you can't know what happens next week, so you can't know what happens next month. So how you can leap to 25th of December makes absolutely no sense to me. And that's why I never, ever, ever, ever give price predictions like that. It's just grossly irresponsible, and it misses the entire point of conducting analysis in this market, in my opinion. Because what you really are trying, if you're a real trader, what you're really trying to do here is just gain probabilities to enter the market at good times, exit at good times, trade small moves, and make some money, and then get out and repeat, rinse, repeat over and over and over. And I just want to take this opportunity to really hit this point home with you guys, because it's been a while since I've spoken about this, but what I really want to, kind of talk about right here is what happens when you kind of compound your gains, right? And I'm going to show you this with the calculator again. It's been a little while since I've talked about this, but what we are trying to do right here with trading is essentially we want to be able to, look at the real estate market. You've got, let's say, let's use an easy number, $1 million. So 1 million. That's 1 million, and you're getting, your stable 8% return every single month, and typically 25 years is the length of a mortgage, right? So in that time, your $1 million would turn into 6 million if you're getting 8% every single year for 25 years. For 10 years, which is generally considered to be the time horizon for doubling your money in the UK, that is $2 million after 10 years of constantly getting 8% returns. So, 8% in itself is not a big deal. 8% is not a very, very big profit. We know that because we're in crypto. But when you're spanning this across the length of an entire mortgage, it turns into absolutely insane numbers. 14.7 million from just 8% profits every single year for 35 years. This is going to put into perspective for you the power of compounding profits, right? In a vacuum, 8% is nothing. 8% profit on $1 million is only $8,000. It's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. 8K is a big sum of money, but on top of $1 million, it's nothing. It's not significant. Next year, you're only at 1,016,000, right? So you're not gaining a lot in a vacuum, but across time, you're making a shitload of money. And really what we're trying to do with trading, this is my approach, what I'm trying to do with trading is I'm just trying to compound these gains and do it faster, right? In the real estate market, you're achieving this 8% gain every year. I'm trying to hit this every day or every week, right? Because if I were able to hit this every week, and I'm going to publish something about this very soon. I've been talking to VIP members about it, because those of you who know, with our 25% discount, by the way, who don't know already, yearly members get phone calls with me. So that's where I'm helping you guys out. And, you know, obviously I can't give you financial advice, but I'm doing as much as I can. And it's been super, super useful for every single person who's ever taken a call with us, which is absolutely amazing in that way. And one of the things I've been telling yearly members recently when I'm on these calls with them is that, you know, when you kind of hit these small profit targets consistently, if you were to do this every single week for an entire year, which is completely unrealistic because you're not going to be able to do that, but if you could, because I'm just trying to point out that, look, this is not as hard as you think it is. You've turned 1 million into 54 million, if my math is right. Yeah, if I've read that number. This is $54 million after, you know, 52 simple 8% profits. An even easier number to hit, say 5% profit, right? If you're able to hit 5% profit on a sum like this every single week for 52 weeks, you've now 10x'd, you've 12x'd your starting balance, right? So that's going to tell you a little bit about how powerful it is to you know, to aim for these compounded profits, where just on their own they're not that big of a deal, but when you hit them consistently, you're tapping into literal gold. You are literally tapping into gold, guys. This is what separates the people who gamble and the people who ridiculously put too much of their money in stupid ideas and then lose it all and then revenge trade the next day, and, you know, they're just in a loop, in a spiral of disgusting trading habits. That's what separates people like that from people like this dude who joined 4Flies VIP in March, right? Sent me this message a couple of days ago, turned 2.5k into 20k since joining VIP in March. Been trading in very safe ways. Guys, these are people who trade in consistently safe, measured ways, right? They're not taking crazy risks. I mean, read this, you know, pause the video and read this testimonial. This guy is trading in quite sensible ways, like a lot of our other VIP members are. And they're still pulling these great results because they're tapping into those exponential gains. They're tapping into the powers of compounding. This person was now able to turn that 2.5k into 25k, which means that in the space of just about 5 months, this person has more than 10x'd their starting balance after joining 4Flies VIP. Super, super impressive stuff. Like I said, it's 25% off right now. You can join by clicking on the first link in the description down below, then on the @4Flies button, and then on send message to get access to that major discount on 4Flies VIP. And by the way, this explanation I think is absolutely critical. This is what really kind of separated me from being a bad trader to a good trader. It's just kind of, you know, taking that more long-term approach in this market. It doesn't have to be long-term, as this VIP member demonstrates. 5 months, in my opinion, is not a super long amount of time, but still enough to generate some quite interesting results. Guys, if you found this little segment of this live stream useful, which I definitely think was quite important, then please do smash up the likes. And I'm going to move on to some more of your questions now. I'm very far up the chat, by the way, so if you're talking about what I'm saying, I'm not reading your comments yet because I'm trying to answer every single question. What are my views on holding Cardano for the long term? I don't hold any altcoins for the long term other than Swissborg and Ethereum. So I don't have any thoughts on that, any views. Can I look at audio? I'll take a look at that in just a bit. Just want to go through the rest of these normal questions first. I see you prefer putting trend lines on wicks instead of candle bodies. Any reason? Not really, man. I just go with whatever looks right, to be honest, and I change it whenever it looks right. I mean, I don't have any hard set rules on that. Let's see what else we have here in the comments. Yes, Cardano and ETH are similar, but with the smart contracts, I can see Cardano pushing to $8 over the coming weeks. End of year, $15 potential. You know, I don't know what is going to happen because this is quite irrational price action. And guys, let's just be honest with ourselves. Cardano is not rising this high. Ethereum is not rising this high because they're good products, because they're good cryptocurrencies. They are rising this high because of major speculation and people wanting to make profits, and more importantly, people not wanting to sell. So you can conduct your fundamental analysis as much as you like, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, these markets are primarily, in fact, they are exclusively controlled by the factors of supply and demand. And while demand is higher than supply, prices will keep going up. That's it. It's literally just that simple. Can you remind us where you sold Ethereum at the last time? With pleasure, my friend, with pleasure. I didn't actually sell it on the USD chart. I sold it against Bitcoin, but I sold it when Ethereum was trading all the way up here. So absolutely nothing can stop us. Again, inside of Forflies VIP. Very, very impressive stuff. And again, that means making money on the way down. That's not the only profit I made on Ethereum. Making money on the way down, and again, already making profit on Ethereum while it's rising up, because these are the two price levels that I bought Ethereum at. Against Bitcoin, I bought it around here. It's now massively pumped up. I don't know what this gain is. It's probably about 20%, and against the dollar, it's probably about a 30% profit that I've made very recently. I mean, this is just in a short space of just a few days. So super, super impressive. And then of course we've got the VIP members who are massively outperforming me. Performing even better than I have, which is always very, very cool as well. So definitely some quite interesting results there. Could I use the Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high to the bottom of the correction? Yep, already did that. Hope you found that useful. Ethereum consolidating at 3,700. It's almost meaningless in my opinion. Ethereum can consolidate wherever the hell it likes. It's probably just gonna, it doesn't have any resistance. So as long as the bullish bias stays in this market, I don't think anyone's gonna want to sell until that all-time high. Yeah, nothing more I would say about this. I mean, potentially, buying on the consolidation could be a good idea. I mean, it's kind of trading sideways here, so buying consolidation is a good idea. This was consolidation; it took a big leg up. So I mean, that is definitely something which I'd consider. But I mean, like I said, I'm already in my position. I would have loved to be in a leverage position, which I'm not in at the moment. I would have loved to be in one, so maybe I'm going to enter something like that at some point. But I mean, it's got to be very, very clean, and right now there is nothing clean about this chart. It's just super irrational, very, very unpredictable, and I don't want to, stand in front of a big train like this at the moment. Is it possible for ETH to go down? Anything is possible. Anything is possible, man. Yeah, you're going to learn that the hard way if you haven't learned it already. Let's see what else we have here. Tom Vades is a great technical analyst, but his political BS rambling, which usually couples 60-70% of his streams, are a pain in the butt. I mean, no one likes talking about politics, and I understand that, it's not good, but at the end of the day, it's his platform, man, and I've had my own political ramblings a little bit as well on this YouTube channel, and you just got to take it as it comes. I mean, it's him speaking from passion, and if anybody is doing anything out of passion, I have a lot of respect for it. So, and I tend to agree with a lot of what he says. Doesn't mean I want to hear it, because sometimes you are just going for TA. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Love the answer. I get nervous about price predictions this long. Exactly. I mean, you're making price predictions that far ahead to Christmas is just grossly irresponsible, in my opinion. There's no way you can trade it. You're most likely going to be wrong. I mean, there's like 99% chance you're going to be wrong every single time. So I don't know why anyone would honestly just try and waste their time on that, other than, again, if it's just, material for them to get excited to in their own time with their lotion kind of thing. I mean, that's the only reason I can expect anybody to ever do that. Fourflies, put your power coat back on and go get some food. Thanks for all. Thank you very much, Derek. I love your suggestion. I am going to wear this jacket again because it is so damn popular on this YouTube channel. Hell yeah, you guys have good taste. Don't forget your course. I'm 72% through your course. I'm making small bits of money rather than losing small bits of money. That's it, man. Look, when you're kind of taking those little steps forward, they compound. This is so powerful. And throw it in a calculator and see it yourself. Put whatever your starting balance is, multiplied by 1.05, which is 5%, to the power of 52, which means doing this 52 times. And you're going to see that if you were to do this every single week for a year, it doesn't have to be 52. We can go for a much more easy to digest number. Let's say 10, 10 5% profits in a row. That's not super hard, but still, you're at $1.6 million if you started with $1 million. Let's go with a more realistic number, like say $10,000. A lot of you guys have portfolios around this size. You've still turned 10k into 16k after 10 simple 5% profits. You can pull a 5% profit every day. I mean, it's manageable. I'm not saying you will. And if you try to achieve this consistently, you are going to hit some losses, right? It's unavoidable. But my point is, this is very, very achievable. With some hiccups, very, very achievable. And you're going to be ahead of the guy that's targeting a 60% move straight away, because he is going to be opening himself up to more risk, or she, because women can be stupid as well. So, it applies to both. It applies in both directions. When you're compounding, you want to be able to compound forward. Very, very important. When people learn this and they let go of this idea of fast lottery ticket money, because it just doesn't bloody exist, You know, I mean, maybe it does, but you know, it's no point even trying to aim for that luck. You know, when you let go of that, that's where, look, on one side, you've got people who are banking on luck. Maybe they're going to hit it, maybe not. They're not going to know for a long time. These are what I like to call shitcoin holders. These are the people who hold a lot of XRP, and they're hoping, holding their dick in their hands, hoping that something interesting happens at some point, right? And then you've got the other group of people, the people like this guy who's taken our course, the people like this amazing member inside of 4Flies VIP who inside of 5 months more than 10x'd his money. You've got other people who take this into their own hands, right? And they're aiming for achievable, sensible profits. And they know that they're going to become successful if they follow that kind of path. That's the level of, I mean, that's the key distinction between people who get lucky, which is not in your control, and people who just grab their opportunities by the balls and absolutely run with it and do very, very well with it. Again, right here on screen with your 25% discount. 4Flies, with Bybit, after signing up, how do I check where I get my deposit bonus? It should be straight in your assets. So if you go on the top right and then you go to your assets, depending on if you're in, you know, laptop or mobile, it should be credited straight into your account. If it's not credited yet, it might take a couple of days. But if you have any issues, just message me. You already know how to reach me. It's the same steps on screen here for VIP. Message me if you have any issues, and I will escalate it to my contacts in Bybit, and I will make sure that you get your deposit bonus. Greetings from Holland. Amazing. How you doing, mate? Check my XRP price prediction. Yeah, so I mean, with XRP, I was quite bullish on it. You know, I don't like XRP. I have to make that very clear. But of course, if it's looking good, I'll trade it. And it retraced fully, which is so nice. It managed to pump up to $1.23, retraced fully back down for a retest, and now it's trending back up. This is looking very, very strong to me. Very, very strong. It's got its SEC case. I don't know when that's going to wrap up. Let me know if you know in the comments, if you know when that SEC case is going to be closing up. But that can definitely be something quite significant for this market. You know, if it wins, it's going to be quite explosive. If they just settle, I still think it's going to go up. Don Alt on Twitter was talking about the same thing. And of course, if it loses, that would be pretty bad. But, you know, broadly speaking, I think the market's in quite a healthy place right now. So with a little bit of luck, you know, because we don't know what the outcome is going to be, if it does end up going well, which I don't know, I'm not going to draw any conclusions on that because I'm not really, you know, an economic commentator, an economy commentator. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I'm not that guy, so I don't want to comment on this. But you know, if it does end up working very well, I mean, this coin is just poised to explode right now. It's got every single starting piece that it needs. It's got all the momentum on its side already. All it needs is that little kick, and it's going to be a big kick if that SEC case goes well, and this thing will double easily. I think it will double. I think it will triple. I think it will set new all-time highs in this market if that little news thing ends up going well for this market. For XIP, I think they're going to, all they will be getting is a fine. Dude, if they get a fine, that's good enough, right? If they get a fine, that's going to be enough to set this market off, in my opinion. Am I worried about this Ethereum rise? Honestly, a little bit, Ramses. I mean, I mentioned this in the last video, so go ahead and check out that video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that content. I did talk to you a little bit about why I was slightly worried about Ethereum, but you know, that was only because Bitcoin wasn't following it, and you know, since that video, which was only a couple of hours ago, Bitcoin has started to perform a little bit better. So I'm less worried now than I was before, definitely. Guys, thank you for hitting up those likes. Let's see if we can pump them up again. If you're finding this live stream useful, if you're learning anything, please do smash up those likes. Again, takes only a couple seconds for you guys, but it does help the channel and the algorithm a lot. So I do appreciate that. Is it harder to do TA on altcoins as they just tend to follow Bitcoin's price? Yeah, I would say that's definitely a factor. The bigger reason that altcoins are difficult to analyze is because they're very irrational. They're very small, which means that, you know, a small amount of money can do a lot to the market, can result in a big market move, and that's why they just tend to move in much more irrational ways. That's why TA tends to work out really well on Bitcoin, but less well on, I mean, even a little bit less well on Ethereum, but, you know, significantly less on something like Link, for example. You know, TA is quite difficult on Link because it's such an irrational coin. That's generally why they're more difficult to analyze. Guys, I'm going to take a couple chart suggestions if you want me to look at a particular coin, and then I'm probably going to be closing this live stream off. once again, if $2,500, $2,600 for free sounds like a good idea to you, then you can gain that much cash just by signing up to Bybit with that link down below. If you're not already on it, it's great to have a backup. You need to have a backup. You're just asking for trouble if you don't. And of course, if you already have an account with Bybit, you can still sign up and redeem that reward. If you're in the United States, any restricted territories like that, you're going to need a VPN. That's what I was doing. Of course, I cannot recommend that though. Let's see what else we have here. A lot of you guys are quite interested in if I'm from India, and yes, I'm. My parents are Indian and Pakistani, but I was raised in sunny England, which is why I sound like this. Although, fun fact, I used to have a very, very heavy Indian accent. Let's take a look at DOT. A lot of people asking for DOT. I think we've started to cover that inside of Fourth Life VIP as well. It's about fucking time we did, to be honest. Okay, so DOT looks very interesting. It's already rubbing up against a lot of resistance. You know, I think that this coin, like the rest of the market, is probably just going to rise if the market is bullish, but it is facing a lot of resistance, so this is just not interesting to me at the moment. If anything, I would be taking some profits. This is definitely not a very appealing coin in this market, in my opinion, right now. Let's take a look at Matic. A lot of you guys are asking for Matic. I don't see anything really on this chart. The main thing is probably just that it's been trending up and it's in a falling wedge right now, which is a bullish pattern. I'm not seeing any real resistance or support until perhaps $1.80, which is still about 20% away. Yeah, is that 20%? $1.80? Yeah, 27%. Yeah, it's in a bullish pattern, which is nice. I'm sure there's some momentum support for Matic. Yeah, there is. Look at that on the daily time frame. It's had good momentum support previously. It's also had a little bit of momentum resistance. So this is definitely, I think, a reliable indicator for Matic. So yeah, it's in a good place right now. It has a lot of upward potential. Only resistance I'm seeing is probably about $1.60, offering a little bit of resistance for Matic as well. And then another area of resistance around here at $1.80. And then, you know, straight to the all-time high is the way that I'm seeing this coin right here. So yeah, not looking too bad. Someone's asking for Link. I mean, I just said Link is difficult to analyze, so I don't want to look at that right now. Can I take a look at VeChain? Yeah, it's been a while. Been a very, 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 very long time since I looked at VeChain. This looks a lot better. I think this looks a little bit like Bitcoin right now. It doesn't have much resistance after it's able to break 14 cents. If it does, after 14 cents, I'm only seeing resistance at 18 cents. So that's actually exactly the same position as Matic, pretty much. Actually, it looks a little bit better. No, it looks significantly better than Matic. So, you know, if there's any big piece of news coming up from for VeChain, any big developments in this market that could be coming out relatively soon, I think that would be enough to trigger quite a nice explosion for VeChain to the upside. This is probably not something I would leverage trade because this market is so bloody dangerous, but it does look good for a spot buy. I mean, there's nothing here. It's a very, very attractive trade between 14 cents and 18 cents. I think there's a lot of room for it to rise in this range, you know, quite nicely, quite quickly as well. I mean, this rise, once VeChain breaks this level, if it does, because again, nothing is guaranteed, I think it could be looking at a big pump to the upside. I think this could happen in a day. I mean, you know, a couple of days max. 5 days, let's say max. I think it could be, you know, really shooting up. I heard Sammy bought that coat with XRP. That's very funny. What's the best way to trade after a pump? Just wait until we establish support and resistance? Good question. That's difficult. You know, it really depends. And the first thing I'd actually say about this, like I said towards the beginning of this live stream, is you know, the best way to trade a move like this is to already be in a trade. That's why I was telling VIP members that I was buying Ethereum, you know, days before this pump happened, right? I want to be able to be in this market before the big move happens, because when the big move finally happens, it's way harder to trade it, because you're subject to big swings, right? I mean, the standard thinking approach here would be Ethereum is up, now it's trading sideways, go long on the consolidation, and then it's going to go up again. And that's usually how it works, but the tricky part is when the market is in such an irrational place like it is right now with Ethereum, it can just as easily massively crash down for 1 hour and then come right back up, and that's going to liquidate you. That's going to stop you out of your trade and different things like that. So actually, I would say that the best way is not, to wait for support or resistance. The best way, in my opinion, to trade these kind of things is to only be prepared for it beforehand. And that means if you weren't prepared for it now, you've missed your chance. That's fine. There are a lot of chances. This is as plentiful as anything else in the world. There's a lot of opportunities if you miss this one, and that's completely fine. I'm seeing a lot more opportunities in this market on coins that have not broken out yet, and I'm telling VIP members all about how I plan on trading that. So I think, yeah, that's where my focus is. I'm gonna be prepared for it first, so I already have it, which is what I've done, which is what many VIPs have done, and then I'm going to be looking at other markets that haven't yet broken out, and I'm going to be looking at trading them in very particular ways to maximize my returns and limit my risks as low as possible. Good question. Thank you very much. Let's take it back to the charts and see if we have any others. I was thinking of getting a position on Serum, a Solana DApp. What does DApp stand for? Decentralized app? Is that it? It's been a while since I've heard DApp. I was going to take a look at Solana. I think we've already started talking about it inside of Forthlies VIP. But, yeah, I mean, this is not something that I can really analyze. So, yeah, it's just in a bull flag right now, isn't it? So there's not much I can say other than that. Will Solana correct? Bro, everything will correct eventually, in my opinion. When it will is a different question. But, because this is, again, this kind of price action, honestly, I'm getting tired of saying this. I'm going to stop talking about this stuff, but this kind of price action is very irrational, and you can't predict what's going to happen at this point. I mean, it can be due for a correction for 3 months and still double and triple and quadruple, exactly like Bitcoin has done many times, and and then only will it crash, right? So eventually everything is going to get its correction, most likely. I've never seen an exception to that, but I don't know. And to me, it just looks good for a bull flag, and I mean, as long as this market is bullish, this is probably going to do well. What do I think of XRP? I've already made analysis on some of these coins that you guys are asking for, and I've already made videos on them as well. So just make sure you're subscribed, and you're going to see all of that content. Guys, I'm probably going to call it a stream there. It's been about 1 hour, so thank you all for tuning in. If you want to get more updates from myself and my team, you can join our free Telegram group by clicking on the first link in the description down below. This is going to give you some more free analysis and updates on the market. I'll even tell you guys about my trades occasionally as well, which is generally just reserved for VIP members. And if you do want to take things to the next level, just like this guy over here did, who managed to 10x his starting balance, $2,500, now up to $27,000. If you want to join this guy with his amazing gains, see how he was able to make these profits, gain access to everything we have inside of Forthlies VIP, you can do that by clicking on the first link in the description down below, then clicking on my name at the bottom of any post inside of Forthlies Gold, and then clicking on send message to ask me how to join VIP. Again, right now it's 25% off, so it is a great time to be in. If you're not sure about whether or not you think you're a good fit for Forthlies VIP, you can ask for a call with a member of my team, and we'll see if you're a good fit for Forthlies VIP or not, and we can bring you on board as well. You can schedule this call right now. We'll be on the phone with you tomorrow. We've got a great team that works around the clock, and we can also enroll you guys 24 hours a day as well, so don't worry about that. This 25% discount is not going to stay on the table for too long, so grab it while it's here right now. And with that, I'm probably going to be heading off. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Once again, if we can get a final pump on those likes, if you can subscribe as well. And also just let me know, because I have noticed that viewership has been quite low on this YouTube video. Did you get notified for this live stream? If you did get notified, please let me know in the comments. If you didn't, please let me know as well. That's going to help me, because it looks like this YouTube channel is a little bit, it's behaving weirdly right now. Some videos get promoted, other videos are getting silenced, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I might have to change up a little bit of what I do here, but your yes or no to my question about if you got notified for this live stream would be quite helpful. Or maybe did you see it on your YouTube homepage? That would be quite nice to find out as well.